Hello, welcome to our Dream to Rise podcast. And I'm so fortunate to have a guest who's very motivated in terms of his purpose. He is a leadership coach, football entrepreneur, and broadcaster. He founded the Midas Football Academy in Houston, and his mission is to inspire the next generation of leaders using the tool of soccer and vocational education. Without further ado, let's welcome Bayonle Arashi. Bayonle, welcome to our Dream to Rise podcast. How are you?
Thank you very much for having me, Cynthia. Thank you so
Ah,
much. I'm very excited to be here and to share this platform with you.
our same here, and I'm thank you for responding to my post.
Thank you very much too. Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and let's start. Before we had a few minutes to get to know each other before this recording. That's why
Yes.
we were able to get to know and then really see what his purpose is right now. So, can you tell us something about yourself? Just a brief summary about yourself that brought you to where you are right now.
Well, brief summary. So I'm happy you use that word because if we have to say everything about me, like you know already that it's been a long journey. But I'm very excited. I'm very thankful to God, and I'm very thankful to have Him as the foundation of my life. Well, my name again is Bayonle Arashi. I am Nigerian originally. I was born in the city of Ibadan in Nigeria. I'm 43 years old. I'm a father. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a leadership coach. I am a correctional officer by day and entrepreneur in the evening. There are many parts to me really, but they have all come. All those parts have all come together. Um, for me to be able to know who I am today and to be living in my purpose, which for to many people could mean many things, could mean money to some, could mean many other things. But for me, it means me living in the moment and taking every day as it comes, and hopefully believing that I am making the necessary change in the world, because I think that is the responsibility of every leader or everyone that is in the leadership capacity. And that's just a few I can tell you for now.
Mhm. So, I know you have gone through so much trauma. Probably, what is the major trauma or the biggest obstacle you had to overcome?
The biggest, the biggest will have to be a limiting foundation. I think that's what I should call it. Limiting foundation, coming from the environment that not many people that know me today would think it's possible to that our path will cross, right? But the fact that I am here, have this opportunity to be talking to you, thank God, thanks to technology, but more importantly, thanks to the divine connector, which is God, that always find a way to make something out of nothing, and bring him and prepare him and let him share his gift with the world. I said limiting foundation because I'm from uh, a broken home. Let me call it that way. My parents were my mom was the first of my dad. They got married while they were young. Um, I'm the first child in the family of five. I have four siblings, three brothers and one sister, and yes, they had a very decent life growing up. But growing up, I think I saw a lot of abuse of my mom, unfortunately. And I can actually say now that I'm an adult, also, I know that there is the difference between a physical, mental, and what's the other one? And
Verbal,
verbal abuse,
verbal.
right? My mom didn't suffer the physical one in my presence, but daily, I think I experienced her suffering the one of verbal and mental every day. and most of the verbal ones actually got to some of us. There are some words that my dad used growing up to many of us, especially for me as a male, as a first male child, that today I just, all I can just do is smile, because unfortunately, or fortunately, let me put it that way, because now that I know that every man needs his father, he's my friend today because he's still alive. He's almost 70 years old. And now that, like I said, being a father as well, I'm beginning to understand what happened to him as well, because most of this thing is transgenerational. For someone that knows God now, I'm thankful. I know that he did not also have the mentoring, the coaching. He probably did not get love from his father as well. So it is what he had within his capacity that he was able to share. But those limiting beliefs coming from a home that, at the age of, as early as young as 10 years old that I was, my dad already had a second wife, living with two women in the same house, with the rivalry, two of them trying to get his attention, with me and my siblings, try to also get his attention with other kids, my stepbrother. It was just a very tough cycle. And in the midst of all of that, I just had to make up my mind after, because I had a chance after my high school education to go to a 3-year vocational education called Technical College. I studied radio and television broadcasting at a government technical college in Nigeria. And when I was 19, I graduated and I came home. And just one evening, we were both listening to radio, and he had the advertisement on radio, and it was like, "Why can't you apply for that job on a local TV station?" I applied and I was given that job. That was my first job as a technician with MITV, and that was my escape from home. I had to tell my mom that I don't think I could stand you going through this suffering. So let me go out and see if I can make it. And two things could have happened to me when I left home at 19. I could have gone down spiral from there and become something else, or be where I am today, thankfully, which is still in search of something of success, so to say. But more importantly, I'm happy fulfilling my dreams. So living, going, coming through all of those, and still having the capacity to say, okay, now I am here, I'm working for myself, then what do I want to do? What do I want to become? But I think one of the things that changed the trajectory of my life is still is my father, because in my first year in at the college, when I was like 16 years old, he bought me a book. And that book, I have talked about it many, many times as a leadership coach. It is called Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. It's a book written, I think, in the 1930s. That book, I think, changed my life, because even though at the first read, I did not understand the whole thing the book meant, but one of the things I picked there was the capacity and the ability to be able to think, to be able to dream beyond your present state. For you to be in Lagos, Nigeria, or Ibadan, Nigeria, or anywhere in Africa, and be able to imagine yourself living in America, imagine yourself living in the United Kingdom, imagine yourself living in Canada, imagine yourself making a change. That book taught me that. And from that, it also led me to many other things. So that is the answer to your question. I think my biggest obstacle that I've had to overcome was that limiting foundation and that limiting belief, which I think I was able to conquer through book, and later on in my life when I was 28, when I accepted Jesus, when I converted.
Nice, nice. So what are you doing right now, since you have freed yourself from that bondage of the abuse? And what happened now in terms of you being a person, you have grown up, being a father, family man. How do you, um, I mean, relate or interact with your children now, since you have come through? Because I know I've come from an abusive relationship as well, but I've come to realize that my late husband was also abused. And so it was a repetition of the
Or
generation
cycle.
history, the cycle. So how are you able to stop that? I know you were not physically abused, but You,
I was physically abused. It was
you
my
were
mother
also
that was not
physically
physically.
abused. Oh,
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I
oh,
mentioned my age earlier, and even up to this age, anyone that has been able to see me the way God made me, I still have about two or three physical marks on me,
oh,
um, that I got from my father,
uh-huh,
in areas that only if you know me close, that you will ask, what is it, what is that. The physical abuse was not even was not even a question. But to answer your question, one of the things I think I have done successfully, and I'm really hoping that God continue to give me that strength and that grace, is not to repeat the cycle. Number one, not to repeat the cycle of
uh-huh,
divorce, the
uh-huh,
cycle of broken home, the cycle of poverty, and the cycle of limitation, that you cannot do this, that no matter how hard you fight, how hard you work, that you cannot get something, because I'm the first generation American, and I mean that's a very hard thing to say. I'm the first person in my family to come to the United States, to live in America, to live outside. So there is a lot of barriers that I have had to break for me to get here. So, and I think that's one of the things I could say as uh, was the place and the point I was able to say I broke the cycle, right? But of course, it is a continuous work. You have to continue. I have the knowledge and the understanding that if you are the first to do anything in any family, uh, and you can't afford to be a laid back person. You have to be a prayer warrior. You have to be a reader. You have to be a thinker. You have to be a strong believer. You have to be a strong person of faith. But more importantly, as God preaches to us, you have to be someone that give back, that give what you never got. One of the things I did not get is love, from a love of my parents, especially love of my father. I made sure. I mean, up until my age now, I've never had my father say "I love you." I've never. It's not a word I have ever had. Right? My mom said that to me, but my father has never used that word. Uh, Luckily for me, I have four daughters and I have a son, and I miss no chance in telling them I love you, I am proud of you. So that's another thing I could say. One of the cycle I've broken as well. But you asked the question, what do I do now? Now, coming to America, relocating in 2015 to the United States after having the chance to uh, travel around the world, covering sport, covering soccer to be precise. I came to the US in 2015, February to be precise. And when I got here, I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I didn't know anybody, but friends that helped put me in the house for a couple of months, and with the experience of uh, having been an entrepreneur from Nigeria, having a soccer academy, having some background of traveling, I was able to start finding my way little by little. I did security job. I work in at Walmart. I work at FedEx. I work at Amazon. I did all the warehouse associate and all of it, trying to find my way. And today, for the last 5 years or more, I have been working with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice as a correctional officer, where I think um, my eye even got further open to how much is going on in the world, and coming from an industry that is totally different from where I am now, coming from a broadcasting background to being in criminal justice, was not a transition that was easy. But knowing that every journey that you encounter is meant for a reason, there's a purpose behind it, uh, is that thing that kept me going. So now, while I was at the job and seeing so many men incarcerated, I mean, giving a lot of time, I said, okay, how can I be a different kind of officer? How can I help these people? Even though my job is not to say I want to help them, because but the mission of the agency is to be able to help these guys to integrate them back to society and become a better person after serving their time. So how can I? As I listen to their stories, and one of the things I observe is the pattern. of many of them lacking what you and I are discussing here right now. No love of father. Fathers are not at home. Mom raising two, three boys by themselves. I'm seeing that it is more broken homes, broken marriages, broken life. And I'm like, okay, what can I do about this? Because it is also so bad that some of them that have been there for a while, um, it's only a matter of time when they do get a chance to go out. Before you know it, they are right back in the system. The rate of recidivism in the United States is at about 60-65%. Out of 10 inmates that serve time and go out, about six of them come back in less than a year, back to the
Oh,
prison.
why?
Yes,
Why?
because of institutionalization. Let me put it that word. It takes a lot away from you once you are incarcerated.
Being judged
Mentally,
by other people?
not only judge. I think it's a mental thing. It's really mental, because many people let their background, where they come from, to define them. Many people let what people say to define them. Like, for example, in the criminal justice system, for example, when you come in there and you do not have a higher education, the system make the provision for you to be able to go to school and get your GED in there. For some of them, for some reason, they don't get it. They don't take that opportunity. For some that do not want to even do that, they provide opportunity for you to learn a vocation. They have it. But for you to be able to get this opportunity, you have to be at a particular status.
State of
You have
mind.
to, you have to be a particular status. You cannot be a G5 that is always locked up 18 or 19 hours a day. You have to be free. You have to be able to move around for you to have this access. But for
Ah,
some reason, many of them don't take advantage of it. So when someone that was in a prison for 4 or 5 years that did not do any job, it did not. All it does is sleep, eat, and maybe work out. When you release that person back into the society, what do you think that person is going to do outside?
yeah.
It's just a matter of time. They're going to go back to the crime and come right back to the system. So I decided to say, okay, how can I make a difference? I was a soccer coach. I was a broadcaster. I've covered the game at the highest level. Why can't I start a mentoring program, something that can help young people? So I decided to register a nonprofit called Midas Football Academy, as you mentioned earlier. That will be an institution, I hope. But we're going to have a tool that we're using. And more importantly, we know that it is very difficult to reach everybody. So we are starting with children ages 4 to 13 at the moment, boys only also, because the rate of men to women incarceration in the United States is almost at 10 to 1. But if you break it down further to the rate of incarceration in the state of Texas, it's even worse. There are more men locked up in Texas than women. Over 400,000 men are incarcerated in the state of Texas alone. 400,000
Oh
in the
my.
state of Texas alone. So I said, okay, some of the children of these guys incarcerated, what are they doing? Who is mentoring them? Who
Wait
is talking
first.
to them?
You mentioned about ages 4 to 13. Age 4 are being already imprisoned?
No, those are the kids that we are going to be training in the academy. But I'm saying that,
Ah, okay.
yeah, I'm saying that there are more men in the prison than
Yes. Uh-huh.
young women. But the truth is, in about 10, 8, 5 years ago, there were older people being incarcerated. But today, there are more teenagers coming into the prison in massive numbers,
What
big numbers.
this is because of the broken homes.
This is the result of broken homes. Many of them, when you see them and you ask, where is daddy? Some of them don't know where their dad is. Some of them have never met their father. Some of them lost their father. Some of them were raised just by their mom along with the other people. And how much can our mothers do? How much can they do? Working full time, raising children, it is tough. Even when you have both parents at home, it is challenging. Not to talk of when you have just one person
Yes.
trying to do the job. It is very difficult. So the academy, where I'm hoping in the future, in the nearest future, we're going to have a facility where we can put these boys for a period of 5 years, from the age of 13 to play soccer, and of course to learn vocation. By the time they are in the academy for 5 years, they will be able to, when they come out and graduating at the age of 18, they will either be ready to play soccer professionally, or they will be ready to go to college to go and get their degrees, or no matter how bad it is, they will have something in their hand. They will have a vocation, a skill they are taking into the world, that they can use to offer their services, and they can become somebody. So this is my purpose right now, and this is what I am chasing, 18, 19 hours a day. And that's
Wow,
just the story so far.
I love your purpose. So right
Thank you.
now, how many kids are you training or
At the
mentoring?
moment, because we only launched on April 1st, 2023,
Ah, okay.
we have about 28 kids right now.
Oh, that's a lot also. Do you
Of course, of
imagine?
different numbers. You can see most of our videos when I talk to them, and you can already see, even though these kids are just between ages 4 and 13, you can already see the pattern in between them, the way they communicate with each other, the way they show their temperament. And if we are not there to to start helping to put those temperaments and all those reactions in check, what we are trying to guide against will eventually happen. So I think I am very fulfilled. I am very happy that we're on this journey. And I know that as we grow, we have more people to come support us and give us a lot of support. We will get better and we can reach out to many, many people. And I just don't stop there. I also go personally to teach, to speak in middle school, in high school, to football teams, to athletes, to share with them stories behind the wall. That's what I call it.
So
Stories of what is
how
going
are
on in the
you
prison.
able to get these kids? Where do you get these kids?
So far, I've talked to a couple of schools in Texas. So what I do is I send an email out to the school to tell them, hey,
Ah,
I am so person. I am making myself available to come talk to your students. I am not asking you for any money. I want to come and share experience with them. I want to come and let them understand what is going on. And I want to give them some advice that if I had gotten some of them physically, I probably would be better than the way I am now. But I was able to get them through books, and I'm sharing with them that if you're able to follow some of these steps, some of these rules, your life will be better, and you will be able to help your mother. You will be able to help your father if it's in your life, and you can also help your community. You can help your family. You can help the country at large.
so do you connect with, yeah, you connect with the schools, but are you aligned with the school curriculum or you're separate?
No,
Separate,
it's just it's separate. It's just
separate.
maybe once in a week thing or once in a month thing. I'm also I also sign up as a mentor for one of the biggest school districts in Texas, Alvin ISD, to be a mentor. So I go to a school every Wednesday to mentor. There's a 13-year-old that I'm giving right now to mentor that has an anger issue. So I go there every Wednesday to sit down with him for 30 minutes, ask him questions. How are you doing? How is your studies? What are you having problems with? When you are angry, instead of you yelling and cursing at anybody, just go down and do 10 or 15 push-ups or go for a long run. And so far, it is really yielding positive results.
Very good. Very good. I love your what you're doing right now, especially starting with the kids. And that's what I've seen with my son. He focuses more on the kids because he said that they are the future leaders. And
Yes.
he would even tell me, it's so hard to teach the adults. They're so stubborn.
Yeah, it goes back to a metaphor somebody told me a couple of years ago. He said, when you see a tree that is bending, if a tree is bending young, but if the tree is young, if the tree is not so old, you can straighten it up and tighten it and make it straight. But if the tree is already grown, if you try to bend it and make it like straighten up, you're gonna break it.
Yeah, it will
So
break.
it's
Uh-huh.
it's better for you to
To
start
start
from
from
when
the
they're
young.
young and be able to put those systems in, be able to impact them, and hopefully some of their fathers and their mentors and the leaders, older people, can also see and learn from them and think there is nobody that cannot be changed. You can always change.
Yes.
Everybody born of man has a purpose that they have to be able to follow. So
I 100% agree with you. So what is now your next goal for the next 12 months?
for the next 12 months, our goal is to continue to recruit more kids into the academy, for us to be able to do our two outreach programs that we have in the nonprofit. One of them is called Rising Star. Rising Star is a monthly mentorship program where we're going to have um, about 80 to 100 teenagers and young adults between ages 16 and 18, 15 and 18 to be precise. We're going to have them in an auditorium once a month and bring a resource person that can come and share with them on what to do, how to navigate the teenage years, how to navigate the teenage life. And this will come on first come, first serve basis. We're going to open an application for it. This is a monthly event that will be done 12 months a year. We are looking for sponsors and grants for that to be able to happen because we're a non-profit. We also have our second outreach program called Crossing Bridges. This one is for all. We will go to them now. We'll go to a neighborhood, an underserved community, and organize a one-day soccer event in that area, asking the kids to come out and play. And at the end of it, we're going to reward moms that are raising boys, single moms, or moms that are raising boys, just to give them a token of appreciation. And some of the kids that are very good, we're going to bring them into the academy for them to continue to develop their skills. So those are our target, to be able to complete those outreach programs. Crossing Bridges will be done 4 times a year because it's a quarterly event, while Rising Stars is a monthly event. And in the middle of all this, for us to continue to grow the academy and making impact in our community of Houston and the greater Houston metropolitan area.
So you're in Houston. You're
We are in
focusing on
Houston.
Houston.
Yeah, we
Oh,
are
I
focusing on
was
Houston.
able to visit Houston a year ago, and it was great. I was just invited by a friend of mine who was the president of the what's this um the the Toastmasters Club. So
Toastmasters. Oh, that's, yes, I
yeah,
remember. Yeah, yeah.
so they
That's a very
invited.
good organization. Houston is a very, very, very diverse community. Very diverse. We have all cultures here. Name them. Any culture. Indian culture, or the Asians,
Uh-huh.
um, the Nigerians, the Cameroonians, the Ghanaians. We have it all in Houston.
I
But
even have a high school friend who's a medical director there in Houston.
absolutely, but we also have high crime rates as well, and that's one of
Oh.
the reasons. Well, that's one of the reasons why our nonprofit, we think, is going to have a lot of impact. There is a lot going on in here, in here in Houston, and if you watch TV, it's very scary to watch TV because now almost out of 5 crimes committed, 2 or 3 of them are committed by a teenager,
Oh
by a
my.
16-year-old, by a 17-year-old. And there is also a particular demography that commits most of this crime the most, which is more or less the African American community. And if you look, they are the most impacted. But for us, rather than continue to play the blame game and say, okay, it is you, it is them, it is us, what are we doing about it? What can we do something about it? And that's why Midas Football Academy was born, and that's what we intend. That's the impact we intend to take care of.
Oh, great. I'm glad that you're giving me a lot of information, statistics in terms of the crime rate because you're in the correctional, no? But
Yes,
these are great information for our listeners to know and make them aware that, hey, there's something wrong in the society and we need to do something and act on it.
absolutely,
Especially for the
absolutely. And and
kids.
and, and there's the one I will give you again, that I just didn't come across, that I studied today in the United States in itself, in general. Out of about 10 kids that are growing up, only 3 out of those 10 kids, 3 out of 10, are growing up with in a two-parent home. If you put 10 kids down, only three of them are growing up with mom and dad together in the house today in the United States. Right.
Mm.
The remaining seven are either growing up with mom or dad.
Yes.
That's how bad it is. And when that number goes to about 100, the number even goes down.
Yes.
It
And the
it's
divorce.
and people are not paying attention. People are not paying attention. Whatever you don't take care of, at the end of the day, it come back to hurt you. That's
Yes.
why I always tell the incarcerated folks that if you are not trying to get out of this mentality, out of this way of, oh, I am an inmate, or nobody can tell me what to do, they will continue to send you back, and this industry is not going anywhere. You will continue to come back here, and they will until you get to like 70 years old and you cannot do anything for yourself anymore, and then you would realize, wow, I have wasted all my life. So
Yes. And now you're living in regret. Oh my. Oh, this is a great thing that you're doing because you're helping, especially the young kids. And it's so sad that the rate of divorce is going up. And as parents, we have a big responsibility
absolutely.
to our children because look at the impact the children are facing
Yeah,
because sometimes our relationship with our spouses it is because of our ego being proud. That's
yeah,
why we have broken marriages. And being in a marriage, you need really to make a way to keep this family intact. It's not,
together.
well, there was like Mana, if you're really abused, then you have to save you and your kids, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. But then if you are able to fix things up, make adjustments, and
Why
then
not?
how you interact with other people, how you show yourself to other people, are you showing respect to them so that you'll be able to gain their respect?
Spread back. Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
it's about
Yes.
us, no?
It
It
is.
whatever we show, it is being mirrored back to us.
It is. It is.
Yes.
Certainly. Certainly.
Yes. So what do
Certainly.
you think is the major roadblock for you to not to achieve your goal?
Personally, I don't see any because I know that with God all things are possible. But in looking at it critically, the major challenge will be lack of resource, really. Because without the necessary resource, you cannot get your message across. You cannot get your message out. I mentioned two outreach programs that we have. Money is needed to be able to do these things, to be able to organize, to be able to bring young people together. You have to do something that will attract them. For example, after Rising Star, we're hoping we can give out gift items to, for example, if you play soccer, give you like a soccer boots, give you something that will help you to continue to develop. If you play American football, we want to be able to give you a gear or a gift card to go and buy something at academy or whatever you want. If you run track and field, want to be able to give you a gift card to go and buy a very good shoes to run and continue to develop your skill. So we need resource. Resource is the biggest way, is the biggest obstacle that I see. But we are not slowing down. We are out there asking for help. MidasFA.org is our website. If you we have the opportunity for anyone that wants to give, the donation button is there. One-time giving, multiple giving, monthly giving. We have those, and most of our work that we are even doing right now without any giving at all is also there. So now imagine that if we have the support of the community of the entire country, imagine how far we can go, and how many people we can reach. So I think having a lot of resource is what could be the obstacle. But we believe that without us keeping quiet, and you have just set the benchmark right now, giving us this opportunity to share what we can do, and that's all we need, for people that that are willing to help, to let them know about what you're doing, and see your work and see your vision and see that you are passionate, you know what you are talking about. So that's how we can really forge ahead, and we really hope we can get the needed support and help of everyone. It doesn't matter if it's in Houston, if it's in Canada, if whatever you are, you can support Midas FA.
Okay, that's great. But are you able to come up with uh, programs to raise funds? Because that could
Yes,
also help fundraising
yes.
activities.
Yes, we are. Actually, we are hoping that before Christmas, we're going to have our first, hopefully, fundraising event,
Uh-huh.
which will be a public event that we're going to invite organizations, leaders of the community to come and hear from the founders of the company and hear from the founders of the nonprofit and the board members and see our vision. And hopefully we can also get out there. But yes, we definitely do have programs to do
Because
that. And
like for
right,
example, here in Virginia, when the children in where my children studied in orchestra or they have fundraising wherein the children would clean the cars, and then the people the car owners will pay them, because what I want to see are the children really working for something else. Yeah,
yes,
because
yes,
sometimes it's they would value more the money if they devote themselves working on it. That's
absolutely.
uh-huh.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Uh-huh.
absolutely,
Uh,
absolutely, and that's a very good idea you give to us again, because you cannot have all this information by yourself. More ideas will keep coming, and definitely we will probably try out what you just mentioned now again as a way to raise funds. Why not? We
uh-huh,
definitely can do
yes.
that. We
Yes, and
definitely
then
can do that.
probably come up with the children. They have talents. They could sing, come up with something like a show, and then the parents will be there to support, or if they don't have parents, but
And
other
with
people.
their friends, yes,
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 friends.
yes, a lot
So
can
to
be done.
support the children, they're more than willing. At least they could see something that the children are doing. They're practicing, they're working very hard for that. And they will see that, hey, I have a talent also in singing. I have a talent in dancing. So they will try new things to discover their talent. What are their strengths?
Yes,
There are weaknesses.
yes,
Those are
yes.
just suggestions, ideas.
Those are very good suggestions, and I really thank you for it. I will be taking notes. I will be taking notes, definitely, definitely, definitely.
Okay. So thank you so much. But before we end, would you like to leave our listeners a piece of advice or a quick
Absolutely. One of there is I have a couple I could share, but I'm going to just put this out there. Success can be achieved by anyone, but you have to remember that you cannot rush success. It's not something you can rush. It is a process. You can guarantee it through patience, but you cannot rush it. And also, to define success in the shortest possible time, the number one thing you need to do is to find your true purpose in life. A lot of people, I mean, I don't know the exact percentage, but a lot of people out there today don't know their why. They don't know why they are out there. And that's the first thing as a man or as a woman for you to find. And the biggest source for you to find it is to have some sort of spiritual practice.
Mhm.
You are either calling on God or whatever you believe in, whatever your faith believe in, you have to have a foundation in that. Through that, you will find your vision. You will find your vision and you find your purpose. When you find your purpose, the second thing you should do is to develop to your maximum potential with that purpose. Your maximum, the highest you can go with that by putting in the work, because you also know that you are going to have to work very hard for whatever you want. It is not
Mhm.
going to come to you just in a flash. You will have many heartbreak. You will have many days that you will sacrifice. You will sacrifice some things that you have no idea you will be sacrificing. They will happen, but that is the price to pay for you to be able to stand and tell people, this is what I have done, this is my story, and you also can do it. And when you grow to your maximum potential and become a person of success, or you think you have achieved success, the next thing for you to do, which is the final thing, is to go back and sow that seed that will benefit the next generation. Go
Yeah.
back and start giving back. Give back to the younger folks. Let them know they can also do it. And I think that's just what I can share with you in this great podcast.
Yes, thank you. And you know what? Yesterday, I was invited to speak at the 1818 Society World Bank retirees because I used to be with the World Bank. So I spoke with all the retirees and mentioned to them the session which I shared with them that yes, the topic is about discovering your why. And then what's this? How would you test your why, your dream?
Mm.
And then that's it. I've discovered that a lot of them are still finding their purpose. And
Yes.
I'm glad that it was a big opportunity for me to at least share what I'm doing
What you
to
know.
other
Mm.
people. Yes. And then age, it doesn't matter if you're already 60 or 65 or 70, you still have that life within
Absolutely. You
you.
can do it. You can
You
do
can
it.
still
You can
do
do
it.
it.
You still
And do
have that, you can still share that light for
yes,
others. Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for
Bayonle,
having me. Thank you for
and
having
it
me,
was
Cynthia.
great chatting with you. And I
Thank you.
wish you all the best
Thank
as
you, ma'am.
you pursue your purpose, especially
Thank you.
teaching the kids and helping the
Thank you so
kids grow
much.
up to be uh, a more purposeful people in the world. Okay,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good to have you. Thank you.
same
Have a good
here.
one. Bye bye,
Okay,
ma'am.
bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.